Ever wondered how the Pterodaustro, a prehistoric flying reptile, satisfied its hunger in the Cretaceous period? Well, allow us to introduce you to this extraordinary creature, a unique species of pterosaur that once soared the skies of what we now know as Argentina. Among its many distinctive features, the Pterodaustro was equipped with a long, thin beak, a sight to behold, filled with more than 1,000 tiny bristle-like teeth. Quite an unusual dental arrangement, wouldn't you agree? Now you might be asking yourself, how did this creature utilize such a peculiar beak for feeding? Did it use it to catch fish mid-flight, or perhaps to dig for invertebrates in the mud? The answer to these questions leads us to the heart of today's exploration, so buckle up, as we're about to dive into the fascinating world of Pterodaustro's unique filter feeding techniques. Unlike its carnivorous relatives, the Pterodaustro had a rather unusual diet. This ancient creature, part of the pterosaur family, was not hunting down large prey or snatching fish from the water's surface. Instead, it was employing a technique we often associate with the elegant flamingo, known as filter feeding. Now, what is filter feeding, you may ask? Well, it's a unique method of foraging where the creature uses a built-in sieve to extract its food from the environment. In the case of the Pterodaustro, this sieve was its fascinating beak, lined with over 1,000 slender, bristle-like teeth. The process was rather straightforward, but undeniably effective. The Pterodaustro would dip its beak into the water or mud, scooping up a plentiful mouthful. Then, with a swift close of its beak, it would push out the water or mud, much like we might squeeze a wet sponge. And what was left behind? A delicious meal of small organisms, trapped between its bristle-like teeth. You see, these teeth were not designed for chewing or tearing flesh like those of its relatives. Instead, they were the perfect tool for trapping tiny prey, such as plankton and small crustaceans, abundant in the Pterodaustro's watery habitat. And so, the Pterodaustro, with its elongated, curved beak and bristle-like teeth, was a master at filter feeding. This technique allowed it to exploit a niche that was perhaps less competitive than that of its carnivorous counterparts. With an abundance of plankton and small crustaceans in its environment, the Pterodaustro was never short of a meal. This feeding technique also provided another advantage. With its head submerged in the water, the Pterodaustro could remain somewhat hidden from potential predators, increasing its chances of survival. So, with its unique filter feeding technique, the Pterodaustro was indeed a master of survival in its habitat. Not only was it able to efficiently gather food, but it also managed to do so in a way that offered some protection. Truly, the Pterodaustro is a fascinating example of how creatures adapt to thrive in their environments. It's fascinating to see how the Pterodaustro adapted its feeding habits to its environment, isn't it? Let's take a moment to recap the key points. This prehistoric creature had a unique beak, unlike any other pterosaur, filled with over 1,000 thin, comb-like teeth. These teeth acted as a sieve, straining tiny organisms from the water, a process we've come to know as filter feeding. It's intriguing to consider the Pterodaustro's diet, consisting of small crustaceans and other microscopic marine life. This feeding technique truly sets the Pterodaustro apart from its pterosaur kin, demonstrating the remarkable adaptability of life. It reminds us that evolution is not a one-size-fits-all process, but a grand, diverse performance where each actor finds its niche and plays its part to perfection. In the grand theater of evolution, the Pterodaustro sure knew its part well, its unique feeding technique a testament to the creativity of nature.